just a short period of time here at the University of Texas. You start to really understand that he has done what a lot of coaches have wanted to do for a very long time and hadn't had the ability to do so, and that is put the University of Texas. He's done an unbelievable job when you sit and you think about the accomplishments here at the University of Texas. But he's got a big contest. He's got a big contest coming up this week. And earlier in the week, Madison Booker has spoke about how all this has come about and Coach Vic and Coach Vic was able to talk about Gonzaga and what it means to play against Gonzaga. Uh, Khalil, cut number 35. And that's what it's all about. They know what they're up against. And like I said, Gonzaga's men and women, both highly ranked, both playing at an elite level, and now they get a chance to match up. That game will be tonight on ESPN, 9 o'clock tip, 7 o'clock on the West Coast, 9 o'clock tip. Big time matchup for Vic Schaefer. But most importantly, it's a big time matchup for Madison. Love it. Love it. And the reason why I love it, that's my man John High of Fox 7. He does a great job over there. Known John for a long time. So thank you, John, for that audio. But you sit there and you think about this team and what Madison Booker, they go as she goes. They do as she goes. So you start to think about this team and who's going to be the one to step up. You can look at Aaliyah Moore and her defense and her will to win. You hear the passion for her. A lot of folks believe that she is going to be the difference maker in this tournament, in this game, because everybody's keying on Booker and what she brings. And Booker's going to get hers. We know that. There's been very few games where she hadn't played well. But you start looking around the teams and you say, okay, who's going to have to step up in that particular moment? Strictly in the matter of the way that Booker's going to be double teamed and trying to get the ball out of her hand. It's going to be Aaliyah Moore. It's going to be Deanna Gaston. You know, we talk about Shaylee Gonzalez and Shay Holly and what they bring to the table every single time. But they play tenacious defense. And when they can play defense like that, and they can take away the other team's best players, that's important. That's how Coach Vic Schaefer coaches. That's how he teaches all of this. So to me, with all that being said, this is a huge matchup for this basketball team. I look forward to another long night of hoops, but my TV will be on the Texas Longhorns as they take on Gonzaga. I also wanted to bring up the fact, too, you start looking at this women's matchup and Dawn Staley and her squad continuing to do what they're supposed to be doing as far as winning. You start looking at who is going to be this outstanding player that's going to make a difference. You know, everybody talks a lot about Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. She just got invited to the USA basketball training camp to try to make him be an Olympian. She's the only college player that is invited to it. But here's the biggest part for me. Does everybody forget how good Paige Bucher is? She's one of the best players. She was Caitlin Clark. There wasn't Caitlin Clark being a lot of talk before that. It was all about Paige Buchers and what she was able to do at UConn, playing for Gino Auriemma, doing the things that made her possibly be a number 1 overall draft pick before the injuries. She was one of the coldest, if not the coldest player in college basketball, women's, men or women's. She was heady. She was very intelligent. She knew where to be all the time. And if you listen to people talk about her, i.e. Dawn Staley, who is one of the best coaches in college basketball, they rep her harder than they rep Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark, don't get it twisted. She's a baller. The numbers are there for you. I get it. But let's not forget about Paige Buchers. I don't know why I keep wanting to call her Bob Euchre. Paige Buchers. Unbelievable performance. And she continues to be that player that you continue to look at and say, wow, how impressive is she? Battling all the way back from the injuries that she had. So this is going to be a fun Sweet 16. As I said, South Carolina taking on Indiana today at 5 o'clock. Big matchup. Oregon starts it this afternoon, Oregon State and Notre Dame, as they try to make their way back into it. Later tomorrow, you have Iowa and Colorado. You also have LSU and UCLA. Huge matchup there. USC and Baylor, and UConn and Duke. But NC State and Stanford, and Texas and Gonzaga. The winner of the Texas-Gonzaga game tonight will take on the winner of NC State and Stanford. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's pretty much chalk on that Portland 4 that everybody was talking about that Texas is in. It's exciting times. I'm really excited for this basketball team. I'm really excited for women's athletics. They're getting a lot of publicity at this particular moment and everything that's going on with them. It's an exciting time in March Madness, folks. We got Rylan Cole coming up with us in just a moment in the next segment. He's going to talk about the Round Rock Express. He's the new voice of the Round Rock Express, but he does more than just voice the Round Rock Express. So I'm going to give you a day in the life of someone like him and what he's been able to do through his short period of time as a Round Rock Express member. It's ballpark. We got opening day that happened last night. We'll get into that conversation on what's going on as well. There's NBA action. Man, I'm telling you right now, if y'all haven't been paying attention to the NBA, you are missing out on some serious stuff that's going on. I know we talk a lot about Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs because, that's what we do around here. But if y'all didn't watch what Steph Curry was able to do after Draymond Green the other night looked like a madman over there always trying to choke somebody and then talking about that's not that serious. I'm like, Draymond, you are a problem. And I think this relationship has now come to an end in Golden State. Steph Curry tried to hold up with him, tried to be cool with him, tried to let him know, I got you, I got you. I think Steph is now done with Draymond Green because Draymond Green is making it very tough for Steph Curry to be able to do his job. When we come back, we got my man Rylan. He's going to talk to us about the Round Rock Express, what they have going on. The news has been here all morning long. I got a chance to see Yvonne Nava do her thing this morning. One of my favorite people in this media world, her and her husband, Alex, good people. But when we come back, we got my man Rylan talking about the Round Rock Express, what's going on here, opening night, and of course, Clydesdales are going to be here tonight too. Ooh, y'all better get out here and enjoy the fun. As the Hard Knocks Life continues right here on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone. I like it. Welcome back to the jungle. That's what it's all about, and that's what this is all about. It's your boy Hardball Hardge right here on the Hard Knocks Life on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone. You're probably looking at me on StreamYard and trying to figure out where the heck is Hardge at. Well, I'm at the Dale Diamond today because tonight is opening night for the Round Rock Express, the AAA affiliate of the world champion Texas Rangers. And with a new season, there's a new beginning here at the Round Rock Express, a new voice that you will be hearing right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. He is the play-by-play voice of the Round Rock Express, but he's also a manager. He's in broadcasting. He also does everything else, and you might even see him in a different uniform from time to time. He's my man, Rylan Cobre. How you doing, buddy?
I was going to say, you left out that I was the mascot. That's the first. You should lead with that next time instead of broadcaster. It's mascot. So I fill in for Spike here and there every once in a while. But no, it's good to be here. Appreciate you having me on. And it just sounds great when you have World Series champion attached to your name, and we're excited to celebrate what the Rangers did last year all season here. And I know they're doing it in Arlington. They did it last night. They'll do it again tomorrow. So pretty fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Round Rock Express fans because the story of Round Rock, how it got here, where we are now, and the advancements of Major League Baseball being a part of what you guys have got going on. I got a chance to see the new video board earlier in the year because I was here for the Carbot Classic. You guys have expanded. You got rid of the pool. You're doing some different things because you got to build a clubhouse. And it's the changes with the game that have been happening, and you guys got a chance to be firsthand a part of it.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Ryan Sanders Baseball always asks of us is to be first class, and since I've started here, that's always been the goal. And so when fans come out here, they'll see a lot of new elements to this ballpark. The video board is brand new. It's the same size as the previous board, but it's going to be 43% more LEDs than the old one. So a lot more color and contrast. The ribbon boards are also new. And then, as you mentioned, you'll see the new visiting clubhouse, the skyline of this ballpark starting to change a little bit. It'll be going out in right field where the pool used to be. And right now we've got the It All Starts Here logo up because it does all start here. These guys come here before they go to Arlington. Sometimes they'll skip us every once in a while. Yeah. But for the most part, they're here. We had 22 guys play in the ALCS that were at some point playing here for us. Yep. And in the World Series, there was 10 guys on the Rangers roster. So this group that's coming up right now is also very good. And a lot of these guys are stuck here, I should say. It's a good place to be stuck. No doubt. The best ballpark, I think, in minor league baseball. But a lot of them are stuck because of what's going on at the big league level. So plenty going on for fans, and we're just thrilled to open the gates finally. It always feels like it's been such a long time when you go through the off season and you wait so long for opening day.
And then you got an opportunity to go to spring training. We're talking to Rylan Cobre, the now play-by-play announcer for the Round Rock Express. And, you got a chance to go to spring training. You got a chance to be around the guys. You've done this multiple times. Let's not get it twisted. You've been around it, but now you're in a different capacity. Now you're actually getting an opportunity to spend more time with the guys because you are the play-by-play guy. So you're getting to know these guys personally. What are some of the cool things that you have planned as a play-by-play guy from the experiences that you've had with these guys?
Yeah, I think what I'm looking forward to most is, one, as you said, just getting to know the guys a little more. I'll be on the road with the team, obviously, and getting to see day-to-day, be there around the cage at batting practice, get those notes and nuggets that we can use on the broadcast. But I think the content that we'll be creating throughout the year, not just obviously on the broadcast, but also for social media, I think we're really excited about, because I think we want to really showcase these guys, showcase their brands and what they're trying to do, which obviously is ultimately get up to Arlington, but while they're here, make this a memorable spot. So I'm looking forward to just learning more about these guys on a day-to-day basis. And I think, like I said a little bit ago, there's so much talent on this roster. I mean, it is loaded right now. I listened to you talking to Jared Sandler yesterday and talking so much about Wyatt Langford. And it's like, Wyatt Langford is going to be a phenomenal baseball player. I really think he's going to be – he's special. He already has shown that. But there's a lot of guys that maybe don't have the same name or the aura as Wyatt Langford has right now, that are doing great things here and have the last year, and just they're not there yet because there's not an opportunity for
Right,
it.
right.
So
There's so much depth in that Texas Rangers offense and defense. I mean, you start thinking about the pitching staff and some of the guys that are going to be here that you're going to get a chance to see and call their games that are potential big leaguers. You know, there's so many of them that are there, but then you also look at the position players that are behind a Corey Seager or Marcus Simeon or even Tavares in center field. And now you have the two young outfield corners in Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford. Oh, yeah, and Adolis Garcia. So it's a tough, tough move. The one position that I've always been looking at is the catcher position with Huff. Huff is one heck of a baseball player, but he's behind Jonah Heim, who's young too.
yeah, and Sam Huff, a guy who was drafted out of high school, feels like he's much older than he is. He's been in the Rangers system. I think this is year 8 now. And there just hasn't been the opportunity for him at the big league level. And like you said, Jonah Heim last year, Mitch Garver, and then they go out and sign Andrew Kisner. So
Yep.
he's kind of slid down here to us at Round Rock, but we saw him hit a 500-foot home run in this ballpark.
Unbelievable.
I mean, the power is there, and you wonder how many teams would he be either their everyday catcher or the number 2 guy for other big league clubs. I would think a handful of clubs would love him behind the plate right now. So you're seeing big league talent right now in this ballpark.
And I love every moment of it. I want to ask you this, Rollin, because a lot of people, obviously, we talked a lot about the play-by-play stuff, but before you got into that, you were doing some managing, you were doing some moving around, you were doing communications, you were in charge of media credentials, you were making sure that everybody got what they needed, travel, all kinds of stuff. What is the day in the life of Rylan Colbrate take every day?
Well, I don't know if I can give you an accurate depiction because today is a little outlier a little bit. I was here at 3:30 and I was Rylan for one hit downstairs with K-View at ABC Austin, and then I was Spike for the other hit. So I've been the mascot. I've been Rylan. I still have my PR title, so I am handling the day-to-day transactions with the team and any media relations with those guys. And, like you said, credentials, scheduling our press box, making sure the food's getting here. But the great thing is that myself, Aubrey Painter, who's our manager of communications and travel, and then Eli Voppen, who's our intern this year, who's just done a phenomenal job. It's the 3 of us really work well, and without the 2 of them with me, I don't think I'll be able to do it. So the broadcasting piece is new this year, but all the stops I've been at, whether I was in Boise, Augusta, Wisconsin, I've always done both, and I think they both work with each other because the PR part, it helps me to listen to those guys do their interviews, and I can use a lot of those notes and nuggets on the broadcast.
Yeah, that is really cool the way that everything is kind of set up because everybody don't truly understand. They hear the minor league stuff and the stories of the players, but they don't know about the behind the scenes deals. Chris Amadeus, the president of the Round Rock Express, and Jimmy, I always want to call him Jimmy Jack, Timmy Jack, Tim Jackson, the general manager. Those guys always talk about what happens ancillary, right? Everything that goes on around the ballpark, they can control. You can't control what happens on the field.
Yeah, and thankfully, I mean, I think we'll win a lot of games. We won 89 games last year, and we've got the majority of our roster back. But if we lose every single game, we'll still have fans in the stands.
Absolutely.
We're not, at the end of the year is not going to come and we're 0-149. It's not going to be empty here because everything that else that goes on around this ballpark matters to these fans in this community. And so every night you come out here, there is some kind of promotion. There's some kind of theme night or giveaway, whatever it might be for every single type of fan. So we pride ourselves on being a big part of this community. And I think 2024 is going to be another big year for us.
I do appreciate that because of what you guys do for the community. You do all kinds of fundraisers. You have people coming in and out. You got celebrities that come out and have those special nights here. Tonight you're doing a giveaway, a hat giveaway. Clydesdales are going to be here. I mean, is there opening day? Is there anything better than it?
There's nothing better. And it's cool now because the minor league baseball schedule, I say it's cool in September, though. When it's the dog days, it's a little tough. But I'll say this, lining up right with the Rangers. I mean, they played last night, but we're starting the day after. I mean, we're right there with them.
Yep.
It's great to be right in the mix of all the major league games. A lot of teams didn't kick off yesterday; they'll start today, and just like us. And so there isn't anything better. Once they start getting the grills fired up here, and it starts smelling like hot dogs and popcorn, and our fans start coming through these gates to get ready, it really is special. It's our Super Bowl. We always say that in the off season. We prepare for tonight, and then we get into the rhythm of the season, and we get ready for whether it's Princess Night, whether it's our Eras Night, which is our kind of Taylor Swift night, whatever it might be throughout the season. We're ready for, and we're excited.
There he is, Rylan Cobright, the new voice of the Round Rock Express, where you can hear it because this is the exclusive home of the Round Rock Express right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Thanks, Rylan. And when we come back, we'll talk about Texas baseball, not the Rangers, Texas Longhorns, right here on the Hard Knocks Life on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. before we get all the way back into the Hard Knocks Life and we talk about Texas baseball, I wanted to make sure that you got your opportunity to get iHeart Country Festival tickets right now. That's presented by Capital One. It is back in Austin, May the 4th. That's right, at the Moody Center. Get your opportunity to go see Jason Aldean, Jelly Roll, Old Dominion, Lady A, Riley Green, Ashley McBride, and so many more. But they're almost out of tickets, so you better hurry up and get your tickets now before they sell out. There's only a select few left. All you have to do is go to Ticketmaster.com and get your tickets. There's only a few left. That's the iHeart Country Festival presented by Capital One, as it will make its way back to Austin May the 4th. Last night, the Texas baseball team wanted to make its way back to Austin as they took it on the chin against the number one team in the Big 12, the K-State Wildcats, and Texas lost 14-6. Texas moves to 15-11, and K-State moves to 18-6. The problem about this was last night's game was Texas gave up a bunch of runs in the second inning. Texas had a 3-0 lead heading into the heading into the bottom of the second inning, and they ended up giving up 8 runs. And that was the difference in the ball game. That one inning that always seems to haunt this baseball team. But here's the beautiful thing about this Texas baseball team. They've lost the first game in both Big 12 series thus far and came back and won the series. So before you start to panic and before you start to think that, things are a little bit wild, don't worry about it. Yes, they had one bad inning, but I'm gonna tell you this. I think they're gonna bounce back and be ready to go. You would think LeBaron Johnson would be able to have a big outing, but he did not have his best outing, giving up 8 runs on 5 hits and 3 walks. Man, excuse me, 5 walks. 5 walks. That's a tough day at the office. So just wanted to make sure that you knew about the Texas baseball team. Hour number 1 is in the books. I am at the Dale Diamond Round Rock Express, opening the season as the team that got to the playoffs, played deep into the playoffs, but this is the home of the World Series champion Texas Rangers. When we come back in hour number 2, we'll talk some Texas football. We'll also bring up some more about the women as they get ready to play. And of course, it is March Madness. So much happening right here on the Hard Knocks Life on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone. Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Hard Knocks Life right here on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone. I am at the Dale Diamond as the Round Rock Express kick off their baseball season tonight against the Space Cowboys, Sugarland Space Cowboys, affiliate, AAA affiliate of the Houston Astros. So we got a battle of Texas going on, the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers, AAA affiliate, open up the season tonight. Going to be an exciting time. The Clydesdales are going to be here. VY was supposed to throw out the first pitch, but there's a rumor that something might have happened with his family, so he may not be here. I'm not sure of that, so don't quote me just yet. He may end up making that appearance, but he's supposed to throw out the first pitch. There's going to be so many celebrities and so many people here to celebrate the opening of the minor league season. Yesterday, the major league season opened up, and the Texas Rangers won game 1 of their series against, to walk it off in big time fashion. I'm so excited for baseball to be here and the team to be able to defend their crown as they walked off last night against the Chicago Cubs. The Astros end up losing to the New York Yankees 5-4. Great throw by Juan Soto, one of their big acquisitions in the offseason. Soto playing right field. He's known more for his offense, but he came up with a huge throw to cut down a run at home plate for them to hold on to that victory in the ninth inning, 5-4. The Baltimore Orioles, my preseason pick to win the World Series, won game one against the Anaheim Angels, Los Angeles Angels, sorry about that, 11-2. Mike Trout hit a home run, though, but that Baltimore team is going to be exciting to watch. My other team that I have playing for the World Series as well, the LA Dodgers, have won their first game against the St. Louis Cardinals, 7-1. Mookie Betts is hitting a smooth 636 to start the year off. Very impressed with what Mookie was able to do. In that same game, Shohei Ohtani, show me the money, Ohtani. Got on base 3 times and got a double early in the game. Been looking really, really good at the plate already this year. That top of that lineup is deadly. Mookie's hitting 636. Shohei's hitting 385. And Freddie Freeman is hitting 333 with Will Smith, who just got a contract extension, the catcher, batting 429. I know it's early in the season. There's still so much to get into. I'm not overreacting or overcooking the grits, as my man, the late great Sean Adams, used to say. But you sit there and you look at this team and the way that it's constructed from top to bottom. Dave Roberts, if he does not get this team to the World Series, it is going to be a huge disappointment. And I know Craig Way, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, is a huge LA Dodger fan. Huge. And I wonder what his first thoughts were when he saw this team get put together from top to bottom. It's got to be World Series or bust. World Series or bust is a must for this LA Dodger baseball team. It's one of the best teams orchestrated. I mean, you can't put a better team together and expect them not to win. So we'll see how that plays out. But we have NCAA basketball, and last night a lot of teams were sent home, and one that was sent home, 4 teams were sent home, and one of them was the number 1 seed in basketball. For me, my team that I had winning the entire tournament, North Carolina. North Carolina falls to not Gonzaga. I was going to call him Gonzaga. Alabama. They fall to Alabama and Nate Oates and what he was able to do with his team. They end up losing that game. They had plenty of opportunity at the end of the game to hit a couple shots, and they just kept missing from 3. They weren't driving in. They should have went in to at least tie the game and see what can happen, but they were trying to win it from the 3-point line. Would have worked for me. As long as I'd have got the dub, it would have been cool. But Alabama moves on. Illinois defeat the number 2 team, Iowa State. The Cyclones was our hope to be in a matchup with Houston. So we have Big 12 teams in there. And I posed this question a few weeks ago, which team would have the most representation, because they had the most teams get into the tournament. Which team was going to be there? Was it going to be the SEC, or was it going to be the Big 12 that was going to have the opportunity to play for a national championship? And right now it looks like the SEC might get somebody there. Clemson defeated Arizona, and UConn, the most impressive number 1 team in the land, has been very consistent and very impressive when you start to think of the fact that they played in a Sweet 16 game. All the other ones were tight. They were tight. This one was not. 82-52, 30-point shellacking by UConn. The ability for them to really get after the other team is quite impressive. Might be one of the most impressive things that I've seen in a long, long time. We also want to talk about tonight's matchup, Marquette with Shaka Smart. Shaka Smart being able to get his Marquette team to the Sweet 16, and now they play Cinderella, NC State. That game will be at 6:09 on CBS. Purdue takes on number 1 Purdue takes on number 5 Gonzaga at 6:39 on TBS. The University of Houston Cougars and Duke, which I think is going to be the best game of the night. These two teams can get up and down the floor. There's some athleticism that is there. University of Houston and Duke. They will tip off at 8:39 in Tennessee and Creighton, number 2 versus number 3, as they take on each other at 9 o'clock on TBS. That Houston game is nationally televised on CBS. So it's going to be a big, big matchup. I'm excited about it as those teams advance to the Elite Eight and the next round, getting close to being that team that will be crowned again. A lot of people are looking at right now, they're looking at UConn as one of the most impressive teams and the way that they have been able to conquer every challenge that has been put in there. I think we need to start looking at Dan Hurley as probably one of the best coaches in college basketball. There's no doubt in my mind that UConn is one of those schools that, yes, you can win there. You can get the tough kids. You can get everything that you're looking for. But would he be somebody that will go after another job? What's the next job for Dan Hurley? Is he the next Kentucky coach? You know, John Calipari announced that he will be back. He's doing more, he's doing less with more. He has all the talent. They don't win in the SEC. They don't win in the NCAA tournament. But he gets all this praise about getting these one and done players. That's recruiting. You can recruit. He's one of the best recruiters. But I also know that when you recruit those types of players, you have to find a way to win. And how are you not winning? How are you not advancing? How are you not playing for championships? Well, I'll tell you why. Because you are going after the one and dones and not getting the foundation builders. Your program needs foundation builders, and that's for everybody. You need some guys that you know are going to stick around and be a part of what they have going on. So now you start looking at this team and you're saying, okay, what do they have? Are they going to be able to do it? And will Dan Hurley be a person that will get a big time job? Now, UConn is big in basketball world, but are you looking for a coach to build your program that can get all these things done? I would think that everybody needs to start looking at Dan Hurley by far. And I'm not even hesitant about saying that. So UConn rolls on a 30-point shellacking against the team that they played against in the championship game last year, San Diego State. When we come back, we're going to talk Texas football here on the Hardge Knocks Live. You know, 2 statements were made this week, and I want to replay them both. And they all were surrounded by this linebacker that we have such high expectations on. Right here on the Hardge Knocks Live on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone. Welcome back to a Feel Good Football Friday. That's right, Feel Good Friday, but we're going to talk a little bit of football right here as the Texas Longhorns continue to have their spring practice. I believe that they're taking a little bit of a break at this particular moment. What up, JB? Glad you could tune in. I know a lot of people are sleeping in this morning, so it's a different kind of Friday right now with everybody being off. But I wanted to talk about this Texas football team and what the expectations are. We talked about how a lot of people are looking at this team in a different light than what they have in the past. We've already talked about the 11 players that got a chance to go to the NFL combine. We've talked about the expectations of who's going to go where, and we're going to get really into the draft starting next week where we start to piece where we're starting to hear a lot of these players because the draft is right around the corner. Be paying attention to some things that we're going to be doing for the draft. Once we get those things sewn up, we'll let you know. But, you know, I'm looking at this Texas football team and the recruiting and the development of all these players. And one of the players in particular is Anthony Hill. At the beginning of the week, Coach Sark was talking about Anthony Hill and the positions in which they may be using him from time to time. And that's the beautiful thing about him is he's so versatile that he's been able to move him around. But the one thing that I've always talked about is kind of like this Micah Parsons deal, right? Micah Parsons is so effective in different areas, but what areas are you going to use him? Where is his biggest strength to help this football team? And I know that coach is making sure that that happens. So for me, it's a lot of information that has been going on. There's a lot of things that have happened throughout this week that you're starting to see the development of this football team. And I just got a text that's saying that they're off for practice. They will practice today, and then for they'll take a break for Easter before they get back and get back on the practice fields. But you sit there and you start to think about this team and what Coach Sark is developing. The team as itself is getting better. The team as recruiting is getting better. But the one thing that we continue to underestimate is the development part. They have developed these players into household names now. They are putting these people in a position to now, when you come to the University of Texas, you know the narrative has changed and it's changed drastically, which is a doggone good thing. But you also heard David Benda, another person who's played multiple positions at the University of Texas that have kind of found a home on the defensive side. He talked about Anthony Hill and how good of a football player he truly is. And that's important. And this is the type of cerebral player that Texas is starting to bring in. And what I mean by that is these guys have the talent, but when the talent and the hard work meet, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Because there's a lot of guys that are talented that may not work that hard, that aren't putting those extra steps in to being successful. That is what makes a football team and any team in whatever sport or even work, even your real life jobs, you start looking at how can we get better every single day? Be better today than you were yesterday. Be better today than what you were yesterday or last week. How do you continue to show that you are ready to take that next step? How can you be looked at as a leader? That's the other part of this deal. When you start to look at different people take those steps, and now they're following in that leadership role too, where they were the pupil before, and now they're teaching those steps and those ways. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And we always talk about the fact that player-led teams are the ones that are mostly the most successful. Yeah, a lot of that is true, but you still need some leadership from the coaching. The coach has to be able to give you the message so you can go and relay that to your squad. That helps as well. So this Texas football team, especially on the defensive side, are making some huge strides. But on the offensive side of the ball, you already know what it's about. It's about that quarterback, Quinn Ewers, that quarterback room. But you also have to look on that offensive side. You need to look at the running back position. And this year, coming into the season, Texas is in probably one of the best spots that they've been in a very, very long time. And Coach Sark talked about the running back room this week. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to be a part of. When you start to look at this team and the growth, I love the fact that he talks about where they were in the past and where they are now. Now, you don't always have to look backwards to go forward. You don't definitely have to do that. But when you look at the program as a whole, and there's a lot of good people that have been around this university for quite some time, and the conversation continues to be the exact same. This is probably the best shape that the program has been in a very long time. How did we get here, though? You had to take those bumps in the road. You had to fix a few things, and you had to get the right person to lead it. And not only did you have to get the right person to lead it, you had to get the right person to lead it, but you had to give them some time to develop it. For so long, a lot of people were ready to get rid of people right away because it's not up to your liking. Sometimes patience, patience plays a huge role in the success of a team as they continue to build for their future. Everybody, we live in a microwave society. We wanted to be in the playoffs immediately. Well, we had to figure out a way to get his players here. And now we heard it in the summertime when he was on the pivot with Ryan Clark and said, "This feels like my team. This feels the way that they walk, the way they talk, the way that they carry themselves. It feels like I'm finally getting what I was working to get to." And now all of a sudden, we're reaping the benefits. He's reaping the benefits of it. Got a contract extension. He's put himself in the right spot. He got camaraderie with his coaching staff, which is huge in this day and age where everybody's always looking to get the next best thing instead of staying strong and loyal to the people that have been loyal to you. Now, sometimes loyalty can get you in trouble. Loyalty can put you in a bad space, but for the most part, you have to continue to look at, okay, what is he putting around himself? Where is he getting these players from? Are they coming from winning programs? Can they run? Can they jump? Are they exciting players? Or is this going to help this program get better to next year? We talked about big humans and the depth on the Texas O line and the defensive line have started to get a little bit better. You start to look at this offensive line and see the players that are coming back from it, guys that are got some playing time last year because of the injuries that were there. You've opened up more opportunities over the last 2 off seasons than you ever have. He's building it the right way. We always talk about the offensive and defensive lines. And it was a running joke for a while where he was talking about, I love big humans. We got to go get big humans. We all understood that. We all look at that. But now you start to see it. Now you've got a guy in Jake Majors who's been in this program forever, who's now the big leader on that offensive line. You got the prodigy in Kelvin Banks, who is ready, going to be probably one of the first players off the board. You got DJ Campbell and Cam Williams on the defense, on offensive line. Hayden Connor. You have guys. You have big body Benzes over there. Or if you want to call them big trucks. Go get a truck, get over there at Covert Hutto. That's right. Right down the road from where I am right here on 79. But you sit there and you look at this team and the way that it's being built and orchestrated. This is an important move for the Texas Longhorns. They're going into the SEC. 2 years ago, people were mocking Texas going into the SEC. Oh, they're not ready. What are they going to do? They're going to get destroyed. They can't even win the Big 12. Well, they won the Big 12 on the way out. You can't talk about that anymore. They got into the playoff and 1 play away from playing for a national championship. Well, can't hold that against them anymore. Now they're going into the SEC, one of the most hyped teams in the history of a transition. Everybody's talking about Texas, Texas, Texas. People getting national recognition now. Coach Sark is at NASCAR for the weekend, telling everybody to go, the green flag. So you start to see he's on every national radio show across the country and TV station and everything. Texas is being talked about. There's another team that's going into the SEC that's not getting the same kind of love. So when people start to talk about Texas, they're not making fun of Texas anymore. That's for sure. They're talking about them in a real good light, and things are starting to really, really pick up. I wanted to bring up this one more statement about my man Quinn Ewers. He's developing with this with this offense and the wide receiver core. And here's Quinn on the development of a rapport with this team. It's a good thing. It's a good thing when your quarterback is in that position. And like I said, 3 years now, you've got your starting quarterback. And I know a lot of people were trying to figure out if he was going to stay here, and they want to talk about the arch effect and what's going on with that. But Quinn is locked in and ready to go. As I talked about yesterday, he's going to get a chance to put his name in some of that real rare air with an opportunity to be a first-round pick in the NFL. And I know that's been his ultimate goal, but he had to slow himself down, as we talked about yesterday. When we come back, we're going to talk Major League Baseball. Some big numbers were being put up out there, and there's some teams to pay attention to. When Shohei Ohtani showed me the money, you already know what it is, right here on the Hard Knocks Life on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone. Welcome back to the Hardge Knocks Life right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. I'm glad that y'all are waking up with me this morning. I am waking you up from the Dell Diamond as they will have opening day. The sun is starting to come out. It's been good. The video board, they ended up having to take some stuff down because they got a brand new video board and they had to make sure that everything was working properly. Good times are going to be had. I will be out here a little bit later today. Make sure you come out. The Clydesdales will be here. They'll have so much going on. This place will be rocking for opening day here in Round Rock. But I also want to make sure that you get a chance to get your tickets for iHeart Country Festival presented by Capital One. That'll be here May the 4th at the Moody Center. Great performances are going to be had by Jason Aldean, Jelly Roll, Old Dominion, Lady A, Riley Green, Ashley McBride, so many more. But all you have to do is go to Ticketmaster.com. There's only a few select seats that are available. You do not want to miss out on iHeart Country Festival presented by Capital One on May the 4th here at the Moody Center. Also, we want to make sure you get over and continue to follow us on the Zone show page, but also you go to the Zone Cover 3 Bracket Challenge. You can either go to am1300thezone.com or go to cover-3.com and pull up and see exactly where you are. With my loss last night, me picking North Carolina to be my national champion, I have dropped down in the standings. I have dropped down to number 9. And Chloe, I told you Chloe was in second place. Richie was in first place yesterday. Richie is no longer in first place. He has dropped down to 4th. And Chloe and Billy Joe are now 1st and 2nd, tied for 2nd with Will Gilroy. Well, with Will. I'm not going to give out my man's full name. But they are sitting there tied for 2nd. So it's going to be a fun matchup as the games continue to roll on. I know I told you that I was going to talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball got underway yesterday. A lot of exciting games that you see new faces with new teams, but you also see the old faces with the same teams and all the excitement that goes into all of it. A lot of fun times last night in Arlington as the Rangers walk it off in big fashion, 4-3 over the Cubs on the ceremony night. That's right. Everybody, the banner was raised last night. A lot of great pitching, a lot of good defense, and of course, as I said, some home runs and some great defense. The Guardians beat the Athletics. The Guardians and the Athletics were the teams that I was telling you that their tickets were like $13 or $19 to get into that ball game. They defeated them 8-0. The Red Sox beat the Mariners 6-4. The Astros lost to the Yankees last night as well. Big play by Juan Soto making a great throw at home to get the runner out, Dubon, out at home plate as the Yankees win 5-4. Everybody will be back in action here tonight. Another exciting team that people aren't paying attention to just yet is the Toronto Blue Jays. They're getting older as far as mature. They're a bunch of young players, but they're maturing as players, and this is going to be a team to pay attention to as well. You look at the LA Dodgers. Dodgers win last night or yesterday afternoon 7-1 against the St. Louis Cardinals. Big time matchup, big time plays, exciting times for the Dodgers. They are my prohibited favorite to be taking on the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles beat the Angels yesterday 11-3. They made a big free agent signing or a big trade, excuse me. Corbin Burns, all-star pitcher, was their opening day starter. He went 6 innings, 1 run, 1 hit, and 11 strikeouts. The 1 run and 1 hit that he gave up was to Mike Trout, who started the season with a home run. So exciting times for Major League Baseball. We're going to have so much more. We're going to have a weekly correspondent from the Texas Rangers. We're also going to have one from the Houston Astros. I want to make sure that we're covering Texas baseball like no other. Speaking of Texas baseball, the Texas men's baseball team went up to Little Apple, Manhattan, and took it on the chin yesterday as they dropped the series opener to the number 23 ranked Kansas State Jayhawks. Kansas State Wildcats. The Wildcats have been one of those teams that continue to get better as the season goes on. They're 18-6. They are now in sole possession of first place in the Big 12. The Texas Longhorns fall to 15-11. This is a big matchup for them. They are 4-3 in conference play now, and they got some numbers from D. Kennedy. D. Kennedy finally got caught a hold of something and hit a home run. He had 2 hits yesterday with a home run, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Jared Thomas 1 for 4. Max Ballou had another 2-hit game, and Jalen Flores went big fly yesterday. But the story has to continue to be on the mound. The mound was not good last night. It wasn't one of their better performances. It definitely was not LeBaron Johnson, who now falls to 1-2 on the season. But LeBaron Johnson threw 43 pitches. He only went an inning, 6 runs on 6 hits. 6 earned runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, and a 1 strikeout. Then Cody Howard came in. He only went a third of an inning. He gave up 2 runs, 2 earned runs on no hits. So you look at that. And then Hudson Hamilton, 4 innings, 10 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. He threw 75 pitches. So Texas now has to rebound. They'll be playing again tonight, and they have to be able to get back and get this W, because you don't want to fall too far behind in this Big 12. I told you it's going to be interesting when you start to look at how these games are going to play out. The game tonight will be at 6 p.m. on Saturday. It will be at 2 p.m. for the Texas Longhorns as they begin to try to find a way to get off of that schneid. But I told you, they ended up losing the first game of every series in the Big 12 so far. This is the 3rd weekend series. So we will see if they're able to snap back and end up winning the series. They still have that opportunity. As I said, the Big 12 is one of those conferences that you continue to look at and you try to figure out, is this team going to be in the running for it? There's been some changes. There's been some things in the lineup that we have seen. And I didn't mention this yesterday, but I know that it was reported by Jeff Howe of Horns 24/7 that Tanner Witt is now out for a while, pending on what's happening with that elbow. We don't know for sure what it's all about, but as of right now, Tanner Witt is not going to be able to pitch for the team at this particular moment. K-State 6-1 in the conference, Oklahoma 7-2, West Virginia 4-2, Cincinnati and Texas both 4-3 in the conference. UCF 5-5, the Jayhawks 5-5. Oklahoma State is 3-3 in the Big 12 conference. So you start looking at all of these teams, and you're like, man, are they going to be able to hold on and get a good seed in the Big 12 tournament? There's still a lot of time left in this conference, but you want to make sure that you're pushing in the right direction, and you want to make sure that your team is starting to trend in the right direction. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen this Texas baseball team trend in the right direction. As I close this out, Oklahoma State 3-3, Texas Tech 4-6, Houston 4-6, BYU 4-6, TCU, which was the preseason favorite in this conference, is now sitting at 3-7, as are the Baylor Bears. So there's a look around baseball. And when we come back, one more segment as I preview the Texas women taking on Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. Oh, yeah, the Portland 4, baby. Right here on the Hardge Knocks Life on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone. I don't even know that song. I don't even know what song that is, but I'm gonna have to listen to that today as I drive around to try to figure out what the heck I was just listening to. But it's all good. It's your boy Hardball Hardge. Another great week we've had here on the Hardge Knocks Life. If you missed any part of the show or any parts of a show, all you have to do is go to the AM 1300 The Zone podcast page or iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast out. Go look up the Hardge Knocks Life, and it'll be right there. And you can check out any parts of the show. We have great guests this week. Yesterday, we were star-studded. We had Ray Jackson of the Fab Five. We had Jared Sandler of the Texas Rangers, and we had David Pierce of the Texas Longhorns. It has been a busy week. On every Tuesday, we have our man Joe Cook of Inside Texas. Wednesdays, we have Danny Davis of the Austin American Statesman. Thursdays, we normally have Eric Henry of Horns 24/7, and all those guys give you great content when it comes to the Texas Longhorns and what's going on, whether it's the men or women. They have it all covered. Speaking of the women, you can hear their game tonight on 98.1 KVET. Make sure you check that out as they take on Gonzaga at 9 p.m. tip. Our man Craig Way will be there on the call. Baseball is now on 103.1. You will hear baseball tonight as it continues to get ready as Texas takes on K-State. And you will start to hear the Round Rock Express right here on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone, as they start their season tonight. First pitch, I believe, is at 7 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. Exciting times around here, exciting times for the Round Rock Express. They do a great job. If you've never been to this ballpark in Williamson County, the Dale Diamond off of 79. It is one of the most beautiful ballparks that I've ever seen. And I'm not saying that just because I'm sitting in here. I played minor league baseball for a very long time. It was a long time ago, but there were some nice ballparks then. And now me being able to do what I do as far as sports talk radio, I get a chance to go to some pretty cool ballparks, meet some real interesting people. But if you've never been out here, make sure you make a trip this year. It's going to be beautiful weather, nice and warm. It's going to be the entire weekend is going to be outstanding. They do great work here. And I just want y'all to understand that I'm proud to be a part of this. I know that all the games will be heard right here on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone. My man Mike Capps is no longer the voice of the Round Rock Express, but Rylan Cobrain is going to do a great job of replacing the legend. Sometimes a lot of people don't want to come behind the legend, but some people have to step into those shoes, and I hope nothing but the best for my man Rylan. I think he's going to do a great job. I want to thank my man Khalil, Andrew Zimmel, being in the studio, taking care of everything. I appreciate everybody that's listened this week. The Texas women tonight, they will take on Gonzaga, 9 p.m. tip. Make sure you tune in. If you're not going to be watching the game on ESPN, make sure you tune into it. 98.1 Craig Way with the call. As always, I appreciate y'all. And don't believe everything you see, because even salt looks like sugar. Peace.